3.5, 4 hours. They would have been very, very close to that finish line, and they would have been maybe on their haunches or finding a seat somewhere to recover from their ordeal. So it would have just been absolutely chaotic at that stage, and there we see the scenes.
And so, and as you said, I mean, the critical mass of runners still finishing. We saw before that, this is the first blast, by the way, going off. Dozens of runners running down Boyston Street. It could be argued the blast were triggered to get maximum impact, I suppose. There are lots of cameras there. We're seeing lots of, obviously, people with cell phones taking videos like this. The world was watching on because, as Shane Mundy said, and as you underlined, this is a very big sporting deal indeed.
Yeah, the timing, I would suggest there would have been more people around that area when perhaps the top runners came through, because that would have been the spectator event, would have been to turn up to see who won the marathon, and that happened quite a while before that. But there still would have been the loved ones of the people still in the race that would have been nearby that finish line, waiting to give high fives and to pass drinks and to help them recover. So there obviously were a lot of people still around waiting for their loved ones to arrive.
It's a storied event for Australians as well. We've been speaking to a number of Australians like Shane who've been over there, but Rob de Castella, of course, won this event back in '86. You've
spoken to the cream of marathon running in this country. Benita Willis is an outstanding runner, now moved into the coaching sphere as well. And Robert de Castella, of course, is a legend of the sport. And where else would they be other than one of the best marathons in the world?
This is what we know. There are 2 people confirmed dead, an injury toll of at least 80, if not more, reported by CNN. That toll is expected to rise. Paul Kennedy, it is as you were saying, a lot of Australian runners were there. Rob de Castella was in fact telling me earlier that he hoped these attacks would not deter people from taking part in these marathons in the future.
Yeah, I thought what he said was spot on. Your mind immediately turns to being exposed, because lots of these events are held in different countries, and they're places where you can celebrate humans testing themselves and all the rest of it, and they are such good events. This was called in Boston Marathon Monday, and so people turn up to watch that celebration of people achieving great feats, and we had that in Australia as well. So your mind certainly turns to security matters. I would suggest that it's very hard to totally secure any event, particularly something that goes over 42 kilometres.
Yep.
So it's a difficult one, but Rob de Castella did say that he hoped that it wouldn't deter events being staged.
Good morning. A low-pressure trough is causing rain across parts of eastern New South Wales and also areas in Queensland. It will weaken later on today, and a large high-pressure system is drifting towards the east. This will clear showers from the southern states, Western Australia and the Northern Territory. Clear skies. In Queensland, showers across the central west to the southeast. Rain this morning about the eastern tropics. Moderate south to east, southeast to northeasterly winds along the east coast. 28 degrees in Brisbane. For New South Wales, a very wet day ahead for most of the eastern districts. Rain more frequent about the central coast, but mostly sunny in the west. 22 degrees in Griffith. Victoria, showers over the south and mountain districts. They'll contract to the East Gippsland coast, and a fine day in the north. Tasmania, apart from isolated showers about the Flinders Island, mostly fine. 18 degrees in Hobart. South Australia, cool day in the south with isolated showers along the coast west of about Victor Harbour. 23 degrees in Adelaide. Western Australia, cloud in the southwest is coming in from the Indian Ocean, and this will contract to the state's southeast on Thursday. Today it's causing light showers over the southwest land division and the goldfields. Afternoon showers over the Kimberley's northwest coast, and the humidity is building over the top end. Isolated showers over the northern and eastern top end with drier air on Thursday, and slightly cooler winds throughout Alice Springs. 31 degrees. Tomorrow, showers in Brisbane, Perth, Hobart and Sydney, and a partly cloudy day in Canberra with a top of 20 degrees.
Boston in lockdown. Twin blasts killed 2 people and injure many dozens more.
Was 2 bombs blew up in front of the stage there, and it's just a horrific scene that happened there.
President Obama vows to track down those responsible for the explosions.
Make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this, and we will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this.
Australian runners in Boston for the marathon, safe but shaken.
We're only 3 minutes from the the finish line, and the hotel room shook.
Good morning. You're watching ABC News Breakfast. I'm Virginia Trioli.
And I'm Michael Rowland. The news we're covering today, the headline story around the world. Two powerful explosions near the finish line of the Boston Marathon have killed at least 2 people and injured scores others. The city is now in lockdown as police search for more explosive devices.
Boston's mayor says a third explosion at the JFK Library south of the city was caused by an incendiary device or a fire, but probably not linked to the earlier blasts. US President Barack Obama says it's still not clear just who's responsible for the explosions, but he has promised to hunt them down and hold them accountable.
Good afternoon, everybody. Earlier today, I was briefed by my Homeland Security team on the events in Boston. We're continuing to monitor and respond to the situation as it unfolds, and I've directed the full resources of the federal government to help state and local authorities protect our people, increase security around the United States as necessary, and investigate what happened. The American people will say a prayer for Boston tonight, and Michelle and I send our deepest thoughts and prayers to the families of the victims in the wake of this senseless loss. We don't yet have all the answers, but we do know that multiple people have been wounded, some gravely, in explosions at the Boston Marathon. I've spoken to FBI Director Mueller and Secretary of Homeland Security Napolitano, and they're mobilizing the appropriate resources to investigate and to respond. I've updated leaders of Congress in both parties, and we reaffirm that on days like this there are no Republicans or Democrats. We are Americans united in concern for our fellow citizens. I've also spoken with Governor Patrick and Mayor Menino and made it clear that they have every single federal resource necessary to care for the victims and counsel the families. And above all, I made clear to them that all Americans stand with the people of Boston. Boston police, firefighters, and first responders, as well as the National Guard, responded heroically and continue to do so as we speak. It's a reminder that so many Americans serve and sacrifice on our behalf every single day, without regard to their own safety, in dangerous and difficult circumstances. And we salute all those who assisted in responding so quickly and professionally to this tragedy. We still do not know who did this or why.
Well, look, I'm sorry, we will leave Boston briefly and bring you some other news now. And a series of bomb attacks in cities across Iraq overnight has killed at least 37 people and wounded almost 300. Several cities were hit, including the capital Baghdad, Kirkuk in the north and Nasiriyah in the south.
Venezuela's defeated presidential candidate is demanding a recount of votes. Enrique Capriles claims there were several irregularities during the election and he demands the result is illegitimate. Socialist Nicolas Maduro narrowly won the poll to replace Hugo Chavez, who died of cancer back in March.
South Korea remains on high alert as the North celebrates the birth of its founder. Men in suits and women in traditional dress laid flowers at the bronze statue of Kim Il-sung. The current leader, Kim Jong-un, visited his grandfather's mausoleum. The United States has ruled out more talks with North Korea until the country agrees to give up its nuclear weapons.